I wasn't expecting The Long Walk to be, well, this brutal. The Long Walk is the latest movie from a Stephen King's book, apparently the first ever book he wrote. It's about these young men who win a lottery for the opportunity to compete in The Long Walk. The winner gets all the money he could imagine in one wish. And how do you win? Well, you just have to be the last alive. If you fall under 3 miles per hour, you're killed. And if you run away, you're killed. If you attack another player, you're killed. If you try to attack a guard, you're killed. There's more rules, but there's kind of warning rules, and they might kill you, but those are the big ones you could see throughout the movie. Now, I haven't read the book, and the only thing I know about the book is that it was one of Stephen King's first ever books, so I won't be considering the book on this movie review, and I won't even mention it. I'm just going to be talking about this movie. Biggest concern I had about this movie is, why would these kids sign up for this? And they are kids. And I thought about that every time I watched the trailer, every time I thought about the movie, and I thought about it when I walked into the theater, like, okay, they need to answer this because I can't get behind this film if they just decide to sign up for it because it's fun. And honestly, the movie answers it pretty well. They explain that there's this huge economic crisis going on, and not only is it supposed to get someone super rich, but it's also supposed to inspire a bunch of Americans to keep working hard and get through this economic crisis. This also takes place after a civil war. The civil war could be like in the future or in the past. It's kind of hard to tell what decade this movie's in. It kind of is giving 50s and 60s with like the clothes, the cars, the weapons, and honestly the environment. This could be like a dystopian future where there's still the culture of 50s, 60s. But honestly, it doesn't really explain it. And honestly, it's not bad. It doesn't have to explain it. So they did answer the question about why these kids are doing it. And it makes sense because everyone is inspired by this walk. Everyone apparently also signs up. All young men sign up for it, but it's a lottery. And it makes sense why these kids would do it. But right before they're killed, they regret it. They wish they could go home. It's not worth it. And honestly, this film does a great job explaining that no wish, no money is worth this. This film just drops you right into the action. Like, it starts with the main character, Ray, getting dropped off, meeting everyone, and then they go. I think the first kill's within 15 minutes of the start, and it's the most brutal and real kill I've seen in a while. That is up until later kills in this film. It gets really bad. Now, obviously, they don't show every kill and show every character getting killed off because that would just be a waste of time. But the characters they do show, it's very real and brutal. The first kill honestly sets the tone for the rest of the movie, and it just shows you how brutal and real this film is going to get. This film also covers aspects that a lot of other movies wouldn't. Like, one big part is, where do people use the restroom? Well, they do right on the road. And they have to be quick, otherwise they're going to get killed. Mark Hamill plays the major who runs this competition, and he's also the head of the secret police. I don't really know. It didn't really explain it super well. And honestly, that's kind of a theme of this movie. It's not really explaining stuff. It just kind of mentions things and doesn't get super deep into it, which honestly can really work for a lot of films and honestly works most of the time. But you just have to like add a little bit more or just play with it a little bit more. And this movie doesn't really do that for a lot of things. And so it's kind of hit or miss for me. Mark Hamill's performance is great. I think he's a very underrated actor. He's very, very good in this film. And you could tell he was honestly having fun because there were a couple moments where he's just like genuinely funny. And other characters in this film are funny. There's a good amount of laughs in this film. Not like a lot, but I feel like Mark Hamill's character was just kind of flat. Not his performance. His character was flat. They didn't really explore the major, which is like honestly fine. Like if you just want him to be this one-faced villain or just, you know, your typical villain, like you're just supposed to hate him. But they kind of play with his character and like other aspects. I don't really want to like explore because it'd be, you know, spoiling. But when you do that, you kind of like not just make him such a flat villain or your typical villain. You got to explore him a little bit, and they just didn't really do that. And so his character was like iffy for me. It just means that this villain, Mark Hamill's character, is just not going to be a villain people talk about for a very long time, which is fine, but that just holds back this film, in my opinion. I thought the whole cast did a great job, and it's easily the best performances from all these young actors, in my opinion. So far, they still have a great career in front of them, and I think a lot of them are going to go on to do great things. David Johansen, I'm going to go with Johansen, is easily the best part of this film, and he was super great. He was also the best part of Alien Romulus, so I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of him. I'm talking like I'm his dad. I'm not. But I do expect his career to keep blowing up. He's a great actor. I love to see him in more roles. He's also 32, which really surprised me because he looks super young and the whole cast are 18 to 25. So props to him, man. He looks great. Ben Wan, Cooper Hoffman, and Jojo Rabbit are in this film. Freaking Jojo Rabbit. I love that guy. Ben Wan was famously in the latest Karate Kid movie, and I was kind of iffy on it, and I thought his performance was kind of iffy, but he did a good job coming off as a 16-year-old kid, and he's also 25, so yeah. One of my favorite characters who brought me to tears was Toi Noi. I'm definitely saying that wrong, but he was great. This is his first major role. Like, he's been in some shows before, like an episode here and there, but I tried to look him up. There's like nothing about him. He brought me to tears with one part of his performance. Now, the acting is mostly great, and the dialogue is amazing, in my opinion. Obviously, you have a whole book to go off of. But the way these kids talk to each other is exactly how a bunch of young boys would talk to each other if their parents weren't around, and obviously add a little stress of dying any moment to it. It's great dialogue. These kids, it's very realistic how they talk to each other and how they make friends and how they don't like other people on the walk. It's very good. The dialogue is amazing. The only real issue I had with the acting performances for me was the accents. I felt like David Johansen was trying a little too hard to be doing a southern accent, and Ben Wan's Boston accent, I think that's what he was trying to do, was pretty bad and forced. Like, he was chewing gum to I think, to add to his performance of Boston, and I can see why it could help, but the chewing gum part was a little too much, and the accent was just bad. I think he should have just played his normal voice, because he's an American actor. Just have him be from LA or whatever he's from. The main character, Ray, played by Cooper Hoffman, was kind of boring, and his motivation to do the walk and the wish he wants makes a lot of sense, but the movie doesn't really do a great job of exploring it or making you be there right with him and be like, yes, let's do it. I want you to win. Let's go for it. The ending is also kind of predictable, and it just kind of ends. It doesn't overstay its welcome, but I wish it could have had a couple more seconds just to explore the ending a little bit more. Maybe just a couple more seconds of just a shot, just to let us breathe, because this movie is a lot. It's brutal. Overall, this movie's super real, super brutal, and it's by far the most brutal Francis Lawrence movie. So props to him for doing that. It makes you think about death and how stupid violence is and how every moment is important. There's a ton of more themes in this film, and you'll definitely would want to watch this film probably one more time, and that's a couple years down the road, so you can pick up on these films. This movie is definitely super brutal, and it's not a movie you're going to want to watch a lot. But that doesn't mean this movie isn't good. I'm going to give this movie an 8.6 out of 10. So what do you guys think of The Long Walk? Was my rating fair? Comment below your thoughts. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe and leave a like. Goodbye, y'all.